Hi, my name is Roger, and here is a 10 by 10 Mastermorphix in a different pattern than I've ever made before, and it by far took the longest time. It probably took somewhere between 20 and 35 hours. I just don't know. I kept making mistakes and having to go back and fix them, and I get 3 steps forward, 2 steps back, and it was just hard. Um, so you can see that I have some really cool channels in here, which is neat. These patterns go all the way around, so you can see that I have the triangles on these corners. That's kind of cool. And then there's the full green triangle there. And then there's the triangles on these corners. So all the corners have triangles, and then when you look at them from each of the centers, they're pretty cool the way they have the channels there. Kind of this sits out on its own. That's kind of neat. And then these big gaps here are kind of neat. So here's the centers. So this center is the coolest. And then this one's also kind of cool because it has all the different colors in it without the colors touching each other. But in order for the patterns to work going, they start overlapping each other. So there's all these reds here, but still finishing the pattern as it goes around. So let's see here. Same thing here. This one, oh, I started on that one. So you can see that all the blues that go with that one, all the yellows that go here, but ultimately it does, they track around and they meeting up here is interesting. So what was so hard about it? Why did I keep screwing it up? Well, first thing is I'd make some mistakes and have to go backwards. The other thing that was hard is with the even layered Mastermorphixes, you can actually end it with one center being a quarter turn, and then fixing that quarter turn is hard to start with. But when none of the edges are the same, or none of the faces are the same, changing it and fixing it became very convoluted. And so that was hard. And then the other thing that was really hard about it is this is the first time I think I've made a pattern where all 12 of the edge pieces are actually different. None of the edge pieces are the same. Before, I think I'd always have 3 have the same pattern in them. But this one, all patterns and every one of the edges was different. And then that made it really difficult to solve that final center. But anyway, I really like it. It's pretty cool. Definitely the hardest one I've done. I kept making mistakes and had to go back. I'm going to do a super flip of it, and hopefully that's cute when I show it to you. And then I'm going to do a few changes of it for other clips after that might be interesting. So again, really cool pattern. The most difficult one because it had all sorts of odd things that came up as I did it. Fun one. You can see that I switched these for randomly, not randomly, but throughout there so that it sticks out. The longest pieces are sticking out of the shortest spots. And this is probably the best version because you can see that all 4 colors were the green, and then the yellow on the red, the green's on these back pieces, and then the blue, yellow, red are here. That's the only time it worked out that way, because here I have the yellows on the sticks parts, and then there's the yellow here. But anyway, kind of a different, fun solve. I'm going to make a variation of that in just a bit. So this is a version of the one I just solved, where instead of having just the 2 corners, I did a whole line across. It comes with this really neat pattern on each of the corners. Those corners look pretty cool too. So the one thing I wish I would have done differently on this solve is in each one of my corners, from the corners that have the 3 colors on it, I ended up matching one of the sides. So if I had it to do over again, I would have taken these blues here would be on the background of the green, red, yellow. And once you can only do that for one of the colors, and the other ones don't have it quite as cute, but at least it would have been on one. So if you solve this pattern, do that. So this is also a fun one where I took the pieces here and ran them along the opposite, or the perpendicular. And so you can see that I have all blues going there, flipped here, all the reds going there, all the yellows around the background, and then all the greens. If I was going to start this cube over again, I would have actually done it so that one of them had the fourth color. So like, for example, this yellow would have been the outer color here. But I thought that was going to happen naturally as I started the pattern, but I was wrong. So if you make this pattern, make it so that one of the colors in the background. You can't do it for all of them. It's impossible the way the color scheme is. But anyway, awesome new solve. Okay, I'm really excited about this solve. Now, I say that all the time. You guys are all probably rolling your eyes, but I'm pretty excited about this one. What I did here is I actually inverted where the where two major parts were. If you think about cutting this part off, this is actually one of the faces that's normally one color. Normally, these three corners are all yellow. This whole thing is yellow, and then you have yellow here, and then this is red, and it's yellow, red, and then so normally it's different than this, obviously. But it looks really cool here and here. And so you can see that you cut it off there. That's where the blue is. That's where the yellow and the red and the green. And so it's pretty cool the way this works. I like the way that it has this cut out here and then this stick here, or this gap here. And then we have the gaps there as these are inverted. So again, I just want to kind of explain that what used to be the flat part was all one color, and these pointed parts were three different colors on the regular solve. So here, normally when you're looking at this, you have the different colors of red, green, blue, but I was able to make all of these red, and then the red, green, blue is on a face. And so the fact that we were able to invert them. Now, I don't know what order I'm putting these videos in, and this was inspired by two previous solves that got me here. Originally, I just did the part that had these pieces here, and I didn't solve with these corners in. And then I redid that and did that, and redid them again, and put these corners in, but then I didn't have them all the same color. So it took me a while to get here, but I love it. I know that you guys aren't watching my videos because of how great I do the recordings, and then the order they're in, you're just looking at the patterns. And I appreciate everybody that's watched them, and I hope that this one was kind of cool to see. And if anybody from the company that makes these ever watches these, please let me know. I'd love to know that the people who make this puzzle have watched my video. Have a great day, everybody. This is similar to the one I did on the 8x8. So every other one is inside out, and then there's triangles around the corners pieces that are small like that. And then the corner pieces that way. It's kind of a cool solve. And the next video will be after a super flip. So I just did the super flip off green, yellow, red, yellow, where I went every other. And then I came up with this pattern, which honestly, I wasn't expecting. And it's pretty darn cool. So that was just of the last one I did. And so you can see that looks kind of cool. That looks kind of cool. And anyway, that was the super flip of the one I just did before. I'm going to try it another corner, see what happens.